What up, though, junkies? Welcome to another great episode of Coach Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kenshiro, avid comic book junkie and anime junkie. So today, the Transformers franchise is officially on the come up creatively. After two successful movie entries, obviously this past weekend with
he's beginning to believe
Rise of the Beasts, and also a tantalizing crossover teaser. We're going to be exploring the Transformers film franchise as a whole today and where we like to see it go. Introduce who's going to be on the show with me today. Obviously, joining me in studio, as always, my good friends, the great Adakuji and GQ. What's up, gentlemen?
Hey, everybody.
I'm just a drunk.
I don't think we're drunk. And also joining us from remote is Fallen Marvel.
I'm sorry, the I'm just a drunk got me, bro. That
It's always good. Fatal Fury 2. Never miss it. Never miss a beat. Want to give a special shout out to Wolverine Solid X, who just re-upped his 22 months. Thank you very much, sir.
So other Steve, 25.
And the other Steve has also re-upped his
over the 2-year club.
Oh, yes.
nice, guys.
All right, very nice. Thank you very much for your ongoing support. So for those
there's
of you,
a hype train foreman.
oh, okay, awesome. If you guys are just joining the show for the first time today, thank you for choosing to spend your evening with us. We're the Culture Junkies, and we're going to entertain you for the next hour. First 45 minutes of the show is going to be dedicated to our main topics. But let's go over the rest of how this is going to work. The last 15 minutes of the show is dedicated to you, the people, where we talk about anything you guys want to talk about. The follower goal over on my right shoulder triggers a giveaway from GQ's Treasure Chest. So there's an incentive if you haven't followed, or even better, subscribe. And the extra life meter over here on my left shoulder is tracks the bits that you guys reward us with, as Wolverine Solid X actually bidded us already earlier today. If we're doing a really good job entertaining you, filling that meter will trigger an extra 15 minutes added on to the end of the power is yours, and that goal can be triggered twice for an extra 30 minutes. With that being said, let's get on with the show. So running the gamut, obviously I'm gonna start off on a very somber note. Sad news announced last night that the comic world lost an absolute legend. John Romita Sr. passed away last night. He was an absolutely legendary artist known for his iconic depiction of Spider-Man that defined the character for almost 2 generations. His passing last night was announced by his famous son, John Romita Jr. Romita was also the co-creator of Wolverine, and eventually in his role as Marvel Comics art director, he in the 70s led the way eventually designing the Punisher, Luke Cage, Kingpin, Bullseye, Brother Voodoo, and kind of designing the look, or AKA the Marvel way, as it was known back in the 70s and 80s. Romita was also the one who defined the look of Mary Jane Watson in that infamous panel, "Face it, Tiger, you hit the jackpot." That was the first time Mary Jane Watson had ever been seen, and it was John Romita Sr. that put that out there. He was also instrumental in suggesting that Marvel kill off Gwen Stacy in that infamous story arc that came to define Spider-Man as a character in general. Romita was 93 years old.
Wow.
So rest in power to him. Also, everybody, 10 years ago today, where is King Takeem? I need to have him in the chat right now, because 10 years ago today, Man of Steel officially launched the DCEU. Ironically, it's taken that long for The Flash to come out as a single film, but the Rotten Tomato score for the film is out, and it's actually kind of decent. Sitting right now at 69% fresh from the critics, and I think it's better than 85% audience score. So just briefly, guys, what is your anticipation for the film right now, now that it's on upon us? Fallen.
Honestly, the best way that I've heard it put, it really seems like it's a good movie. It's a really good movie for DC, given the track record they've had. So, I'm expecting spectacle.
Are you gonna see it? You gonna see it
no.
now?
No,
I was trying to bait him.
I'll wait for that crisp digital at home.
All right. All right, GQ, Dino, what's your anticipation? You guys gonna check it out this weekend?
I'm gonna probably go see it sometime this weekend. It'll have a beginning, middle, and end. So that's my expectation. a movie.
It's a movie.
Again, DC hasn't earned that.
Hey, I understand.
that enthusiasm.
I understand. I understand. Dido, you in the same boat?
I mean, I do want to go see, but like, I try not to be wrapped up in the lives of the actors. I do realize that they're people just like us.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them do a lot of dumb shit, and some
Mhm.
of them keep quiet to themselves. It's hard for me to say like it's gonna really affect me wanting to go see a movie because
Mm-hmm.
we've watched movies where other people supposedly have done things, and what have you. So I do want to see the movie, but I'm not like jumping out of my pants in the theater.
Jumping out of my pants. That's an interesting turn of phrase. So guys, speaking of not earning that type of anticipation, the Craven the Hunter film is the movie that is the gift that just keeps on giving. A leaked photo of Aaron Taylor Johnson in his Craven costume leaked today. And look, I'm going to be straight up. From my perspective, this is shaping up to be an even worse film than Morbius. Just from what I saw today, Super Nerd Plus put it on Facebook today, and I think it sums it up pretty well. This looks like a damn young Hercules revival with Kevin Sorbo's hands all over it. Like, literally, that's what he looks like.
Vegan Craven, man. That's what they giving us.
Dog.
Vegan Craven.
It's embarrassing, man. It is embarrassing. Just like
That's
I said.
why
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, this is what I was concerned about when they first casted the man. Like, dude's a great actor, don't get me wrong, but it's just like,
Wait.
No.
Great
Like,
actor?
For him, he's pretty good.
I think he was
I'll
pretty
say
good in
that,
Bullet Train.
okay.
He was amazing
But-
in Bullet Train.
Great though,
Like,
but I
I
wouldn't
don't-
say great. But yeah, no, I get you.
I
think I
mean,
get you.
for what he's able to bring or whatever, he does some really good and passable
Mhm.
performances, but Craven, hell no. Like, and it doesn't help that we got that tease the sneak peek of Spider-Man 2 on top of it. So it's like,
Oh yeah, I
It's
know,
just-
right? Talk about bad timing. What was that? Almost 2 weeks ago, we get the Spider-Man 2 teaser showing a proper Craven, and then this photo leaks, and you see this is Aldi's Craven.
But
Like
Kirkland's signature Craven.
that's a little bit of an insult to Aldi's, man.
Hey, maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right, so moving on, wrapping up Run the Gamut. The acquisition of Activision has hit yet another snag. The FTC has been granted an injunction by a federal judge. The FCC is seeking to block the acquisition of Activision under antitrust laws. But here's the kicker: if the deal is not closed by July 18th, Microsoft will have to pay Activision Blizzard $3 billion in breakup fees.
Oh my gosh!
So for me, what makes me wonder if the powers that be at Activision might just be like, hey, why don't you, hey, go ahead, government, just go ahead and put a little monkey wrench in that, and we can get a cool $3 billion for doing nothing. I mean,
I honestly really feel like that is kind of. I think that would kind of be like in Activision's favor, given the shitstorm that they're continuing to go through. So, because I honestly really expect, like, once, like, Microsoft, if they do finally acquire them or whatever, I mean, Activision Blizzard kind of needs a whole restructuring from top to bottom, as we've seen. So,
I don't get why it's a
Yeah.
big issue. It's not like they're the last two video game companies ever.
Right.
It's just that Activision is big, Microsoft is big, but you still have a lot of video game companies out there.
Oh no,
Why?
absolutely. I think what it is because Activision controls Call of Duty. So I mean, that's a huge pie in and of itself. So
but antitrust.
yeah, it is.
you know, it's not the rise. It's not to the level of antitrust. But I mean, if you really that's like a company buying Capcom back when the fighting games were like in their heyday.
Mhm.
Like, okay, you just
Yeah.
bought the biggest fighting game company out of all of them. So and now your
It's-
system only gets those. You know, it's muddy waters.
It comes down to them taking a pretty huge chunk of the gaming industry as far as revenue,
Mhm.
because Activision Blizzard is like again, they're up there as far as like how much money they bring in yearly. So Microsoft acquiring them on top of all the other studios they acquired like the last couple of years, it's just like that's, you know, Activision is just short of being a damn like media conglomerate almost in a way.
Right. That is very true.
Yeah.
Oh well, you know, it is what it is, right?
Dada, what in the hell are you doing?
Yeah, everybody. So I am also building Legos. You could probably see that right there.
This man has a new obsession.
You'll see the end of it at the end of the show. I'm pretty sure I'll be done by the end of the show.
Yeah, it looks like you're almost done already. All right, guys,
possibly.
that's enough. Quick
to Brian Cannon in his chat there. Wolverine Solid X. Everybody, appreciate y'all.
Yo, Payless Craven. That's a good description.
Absolutely.
Payless Craven.
Payless Craven.
Payless who was bankrupt and out of business. Craven. Yeah, I like that. No,
So, Sony keeps up these goofy Marvel movies stuck in the 90s. They might be out of business too.
man. All right, guys, that's enough news for the day. But we can revisit this and more in the Power is Yours segment later on in the show. So, Transformers: The Rise of the Beast just came out this past weekend, and the reception has been generally positive. This makes 2 in a row for a positive film reception from not only critics but the fans for the Transformers film franchise, which has been, I feel like saying it was mixed is being generous. I feel like it's more negative than it is positive. Because even in the early movies, I think people had issues, but I think because it was Transformers and it was a new IP, I think they were a little bit more forgiving. As time went on, after Revenge of the Fallen, which to me was the previously best Transformers live action film, this one may be my favorite now. And Age of Extinction and The Last Night were just absolute train wrecks, in my opinion.
Fallen is your favorite?
Revenge of the Fallen, the third one?
That's the second.
No, not Revenge of the Fallen. Excuse me. Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
No,
Dark Side of the Moon was my
Moon
favorite.
is an album.
Yeah, because I was scratching my head when you said that.
I'm sorry.
Really?
I totally misspoke. Revenge of the Fallen is not my favorite. No. With them racist ass, you know what? I'm not even gonna get started. Anyway, so I'm the only one. I think GQ, you didn't see the movie yet, right?
Not yet.
Yeah.
This
So
weekend.
I saw the movie just yesterday, and if you guys out there have seen it, you know, obviously we can talk about it. We can do light spoilers. I don't think there's anything really big. I think the cat is out of the bag now about what happened near the end of the film. But I think in general, the focus on more G1 designs, I really loved. I thought Optimus looked great. I thought Mirage looked great. I thought RC especially looked really, really, really good. The human people, I know we always talk about the human element and how it interferes with, you know, the Transformers themselves, you know, even going back to the old G1 cartoons with Spike and Carly and what was Spike's Sparkplug. Thank you. We didn't really get annoyed at them because we were kids, but
Speak for yourself.
you got annoyed by them? By Spike
Yeah.
and okay, all right, fair enough.
Dude,
Okay.
The whole show was called The Transformers. I don't need Spike. I don't need Sparkplug. Didn't need Carly. Didn't need Chip. Didn't need any of them. All I needed was Optimus and Megatron going at it. All I needed was Soundwave. I was good.
Yeah.
People were irrelevant.
I understand, but you know, generally, I think this film was really well done. I think I was mostly impressed with Pete Davidson's performance as Mirage.
Pete Davidson.
Yeah, Pete Davidson as Mirage, I thought was really, really good. The only negative, I guess you could say, and maybe I feel this way just about the Transformer movies in general. Outside of Optimus, the other Autobots don't really get much character development. They're like there and then they're gone. No, you guys help me out.
It's just like the cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, but outside of Bumblebee, right? No other Autobot has appeared, I feel like, in multiple movies outside of Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Megatron, Star.
Ratchet appeared in multiple movies. Ironhide appeared in multiple movies. I'm sorry.
Ironhide was
Ironhide appeared in more than Ratchet. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Ironhide appeared in more than anybody outside of the main, obviously, Prime.
He felt
Right.
forgettable to me though.
Right,
Oh, he
and I
definitely
guess
was.
that's it.
He
I think
definitely
everybody
was.
felt forgettable except for Bumblebee, Megatron, Starscream, and Megatron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think like the third one was what like all the like the rest of the OG crew got smoked, I
Yeah.
believe.
Pretty much.
And it
Pretty
was just
much.
like after
By
that,
Leonard
and then it was
Nimoy.
like after
Yeah.
that, then it was just like all these like random Autobots and no name Decepticons unless you really knew who they were,
But-
and like
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah.
that was always my issue, was because like especially watching the first movie, it's like I had to look up to know who was who outside of like the Autobots. Like
yeah.
none of the Decepticons had character.
That's
like, none
the
of
other thing too, right? the Terracons in this film, led by Scourge. Scourge was cool. Scourge was really, really cool. I liked him a lot as a villain. Even though Unicron was kind of like the overarching big bad, and the specter of him still remains even afterwards. But Scourge was really cool. But you never got the other Terracons' names. Like you didn't, there was nothing defining about them. You get to know who they are. They're kind of just thrown away. You know what I mean?
But I mean,
yeah.
that's always been how it was in Transformers, though. Like, look back at the cartoon. The only reason you even knew about other characters is because they got episodes devoted to them, like Power Glide Falls in Love.
But still,
Nobody cared about Power Glide. Nobody
Right.
cared about Sea Spray. Nobody cared about Cosmos. You didn't care about any of those other mini bots. You cared about Prime, Megatron, Starscream, Soundwave, Jazz, and that was pretty much about it.
Yeah, Bumblebee
Everybody
got
else
the
was
glow
just
up.
like whatever.
Grimlock.
Well, no,
Well, you know-
Grimlock,
Grimlock
true.
okay, Grimlock too.
But
Okay.
again, they came
Well, you
later.
know
I'm
what?
saying just in the original
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Follow.
Follow.
Yeah, I think like for me, because like with you guys, you grew up with G1, like as
Mhm.
far as like your starter. For
Mhm.
me, it was Beast Wars. So with Beast Wars, you actually got a chance to see all the characters kind of flesh out and all that. So like I'm used to everybody being a character that
He's right.
has some type of contribution to what they're doing,
Because
whether they're good guy or bad guy. So I'm used to that.
Beast
so,
Wars was
like, when
way
Mhm.
story wise, way better than G1.
Yeah.
G1 was great for like the toys
Mhm.
and the nostalgia. Story wise,
Mhm.
it was a commercial to sell toys.
No,
Sure.
absolutely.
And Beast
Absolutely.
Wars actually was
Had actual development, story, and lore, and
Beast
all
Wars,
that. Right.
Beast Wars had the fact that Transformers is already a finished proof of concept that, hey, we can do stuff with this.
Mhm.
Now it's like, okay, now they can develop story and do more with
Mhm.
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. Like G1 was, okay, how can we make Diaclone and Power Man toys?
Yeah.
And we turn this
And
into
sell them
something and
boys.
sell these boys over in the
Right.
States.
So
That's all that was.
And speaking of Beast Wars, let's get to the Maximals.
Mhm.
Optimus Primal, Ron Perlman coming back playing Optimus Primal
Perlman?
was
Nice.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman playing Optimus Primal again, like he did in the old in the TV series.
Mhm.
Great stuff. Loved him as a leader. I loved the contrast between an Optimus. This is how Optimus was played in this film. Optimus was played as a grizzled war veteran who was desperate to get his people home,
Mhm.
and who blamed himself for them being stranded on Earth.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
it-
very opposite of how he was portrayed in the cartoon. Of course.
Agreed. Right, which I found extremely interesting. He was massively distrustful of humans. He wanted nothing to do with them.
Okay.
Like literally wanted nothing to do with them. He almost like if he could have squashed the human helper, I feel like he would have done so. Just to get rid of him. I felt like.
Okay.
But Optimus Primal, on the other hand, was welcoming and trustful of humans. In fact, the tribe that had helped them in South America kind of blend in and help keep their secret.
Mhm.
It just helped enlighten, elevate that contrast between the two of them. And Primal said this one line in the film that I thought really stood out. He was like, "He is not the Optimus Prime I had envisioned," because he was like, when they first met,
Mhm.
Prime was like,
Mhm.
"Optimus Primal," and he was like, "Yeah, I was named after you, the legendary Optimus Prime." And then Prime hit him with the, came after, was like, "He is not the Prime that I had envisioned,
Never
or
meet
that
you,
everybody had kind of made him out to be." I thought it was great. I thought it
That's
was a
interesting.
great line.
That's interesting.
Michelle Yeoh played Air Razor, which I thought was pretty cool. Rhinox and Cheetor were kind of just there, if I'm being honest. I'm sorry if that's going to disappoint you. They were kind of just there. They were.
I mean, at this point, I kind of had a feeling that someone was gonna fall by the wayside, because
It's definitely those two.
that sucks,
Yeah,
dude.
it does
Like,
suck. It's definitely those two. They fall by the
so,
wayside.
so I'm assuming no rat trap.
No rat trap at all. None.
Okay.
No rat trap at all.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That
No,
sucks too, but
especially
okay.
coming after seeing what is Transformers the Kingdom, the animated series that was on Netflix.
Prime, no, not Prime.
It was
War for Cybertron.
War for Cybertron Kingdom, the third season that featured the Beast Wars.
Oh, that was so good.
That was so good. Yeah, it was so good. Yeah, but anyway, if you haven't seen that, by the way, you need to go check that out. But I thought it was really well done. The ending, obviously I'll get to that now. The ending didn't kill off Unicron. He's trapped, so he's still out there. They even say he's trapped, but he's still out there. We may have to face him again some point in the future.
Did we get oh shit, what are we gonna do now?
No, we did not. No, we did not. No, we did not get that.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, we did not. But one of the things that I did love, the musical cues from Transformers movie for Unicron.
Oh,
were there.
Okay.
Were there.
Soundtrack.
Yep.
Nice.
Were there. They were there. In fact, in the very
I look forward to that now.
yes, the very beginning of the movie, they hit you with it. And I was like, oh,
Nice.
I love it.
Nice.
That's great. Anyway,
Who directed this?
let me look it up. I just had it on the screen.
Because it seems like, okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
May has love for the Transformers lore, but it doesn't. He doesn't have nostalgia for the cartoons.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Mhm.
he has some Easter eggs and some callbacks and whatnot in there. But when it comes down to it, it seems like this director, because I think it's the same guy that directed Bumblebee.
No.
Steven-
Christina Hodson
Steve-
did no,
Bumblebee.
Travis Knight, excuse me, did Bumblebee. Stephen Capel Jr. did this one.
Okay, it seems like these directors have had love and
Mhm.
for the original
Yeah.
franchise. And
Right.
It shows in what they do and some of the little nods. So yeah, looking forward to it. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, it was good. Now, much has been made because at the end of the film, I mean, this was not a post-credit scene. This was literally the end of the film. The human helper gets called in for an interview, and the interviewer was actually from G.I. Joe.
Oh, nice.
And it was like on the slide. They were saying, he was like, we're embroiled in a war, and we actually could use your big friend's help in this war.
Okay.
Alluding to the war with Cobra, the secret war with Cobra,
Okay.
and they want to get the Autobots involved,
All right.
which I think could be pretty cool.
Laying the groundwork.
Laying the groundwork, exactly.
Because that's about the only way you can reboot G.I. Joe right now.
100%.
Because you can't.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe. I enjoyed the two movies for what they were. The timing and some of the stuff that they could have done could have been a lot better. I did not like the Snake Eyes movie. I like some of the actors from the Snake Eyes
Yeah.
movie. I didn't like the movie.
That movie's
Yeah.
not very memorable at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
No.
Yeah, no, it was.
I would love to see them, and again, don't try to do another standalone G.I. Joe movie. Just if you're going to do Transformers versus G.I. Joe, do that. And that's how you bring G.I. Joe back around. Don't try to make another standalone movie because
Right.
you don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows who G.I. Joe is. They can just, boom.
Yep, 100%. Totally agree with that. All right, guys,
Yeah.
we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a short little bit.
The entire Culture Junkies crew would like to thank you for tuning into our programming. We hope you are enjoying our content as much as we enjoy making it. One thing that helps us continue bringing you our unique content is viewer support. By visiting the Culture Junkies Patreon page, you will have the opportunity to select the support level that works best for you. Not only will your support help keep the Culture Junkie Nation growing, but you will make yourself eligible to receive patron-exclusive swag. Please take a moment to consider supporting us and join the ranks of the supporters you see listed on the screen. We would like to also give a special shout out to our Culture Junkies level and above patrons: DeMarcus Smith, Fab Nerd Life, NanetteNet, The Other Steve, and Black Crowned Knight. Remember, for as little as $1 a month, you can support a Culture Junkie. Thank you.
Once again, to all of our patron supporters, we appreciate you all for your ongoing and continued support. Now, guys, let's talk about the Transformers movie franchise as a whole, dating back to the original Transformers film that came out in 2007.
You're not including the '86 film.
For the purposes of this show, I think we'll just stick to live action because I think if we introduce the 86 and we just say, well, nothing comes close to 86, and that still stands true to this day. That is still the best Transformers movie we've ever gotten.
Yeah, everybody loves that movie.
And I'll take that to my grave. I'll say that to the cows come home. Until live action can prove they could do something better than that, it will always be number one.
Until all are one.
Until all are one.
It just sucks that movie didn't get the love that it should have got in the theater.
I mean, it didn't, but it was because pop culture in general was in its infancy back then. I think if that movie had come out now,
they would have called it woke. So
whatever.
They would have found a way.
They would have misunderstood the entire movie and called it woke. So
yeah, they would have found a way.
The thing is that film is, like you said, is a classic. It's untouchable. It's that good. It's just always been a great thing. But as far as the stuff that started in 2005,
2007.
2007.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2007. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. 2005 was the year that Transformers the movie took place.
Yes. Yes. So Transformers, the first Transformers movie, obviously starring Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, the movie that put her on the map. If we're being honest.
Yep.
And Josh Duhamel,
Bad Boys too.
and Tyrese. What was that?
Megan Fox is underage in Bad Boys.
Yes, she was. But yeah,
She was?
right.
Yep.
Yes, she was.
Wow.
Yes, she was.
Bad Boys.
Michael Bay. Michael Bay.
I know. I just.
Yep.
I don't remember. It's been a
It was
long
a club
time since
scene.
I
She
saw
Yeah, it was a club scene and she was in it. So obviously Michael Bay was
I
like,
don't remember that.
Bro,
I don't remember
Michael
that.
Bay-
Most
Oh,
people
wow.
don't. You know.
Michael Bay had a thing for her, and that's why she was in Transformers. So I'm just saying. Anyway, so that film brought the Transformers to life, and I think it kind of got off on a bad foot because they decided not to use the G1 designs for anybody. Now, I will never begrudge them for updating Bumblebee to that sweet ass Camaro when it came out, but not using the G1 designs, I thought was kind of a mistake, in my opinion. What do you guys think about the Transformers film franchise as a whole in general?
Well,
Go ahead, Dido.
I was entertained for the most part. There was like a lot of stuff that I understand why they were trying to do differently. I get it because something that it always comes back to Resident Evil. If you've seen it here, if you've seen it there, why would you want to sit through it again? And some people feel like it needs to be a change up, and I get why they were trying to change up. They're trying to refresh the series. And the first actual movie I thought was entertaining.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any problem with it. But then it just kind of seemed like it was the idea of some of the characters that they were doing. I just couldn't. I get like the second movie. It just I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Some of the Autobot or some of the robots they were doing.
Everything, just like they were all just jumping, like fucking excuse me, Devastator. Like with the balls.
Oh,
and
that
stuff.
hurt. That hurt.
And then they
me.
tried to throw the Pretenders in there, and like a lot of people don't know who the fuck the Pretender. They tried to throw that in there. They were just throwing so much stuff in there, and I don't know. And it kind of was just big blow up action movies like most Michael Bay movies are.
Mm-hmm.
But then like I personally just I didn't watch it last night. I just never felt like it. And it took me years to watch Bumblebee. I just watched Bumblebee last month
Really?
for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And it was not bad, not at all.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, but it was just like.
Paula, what's your take on the franchise in general?
There was a lot of enjoyment in the first film. I thought, especially during that time, because at least at that time, that movie was essentially doing a lot of what hadn't really been done before in a way. So, like, especially with like introducing the live action element with the Transformers and using the real models and actually being detailed to how they transform back and forth and all that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So did we get a lot of human element in it? Yeah. but it's like the way they did it, I can see it because they were trying to do the movie, even though it was Transformers, it was supposed to be through the eyes of us, like having to deal with all this. And it was, it was lighthearted and stuff. But like I did think that it started off on a good foot. I still think that that movie is still entertaining even now. Some stuff doesn't really hold up as well, but it was funny. It was entertaining. The action was cool, and it kind of just went bananas from there because we got Revenge of the Fallen, which made even less sense because it's like, hey, everything that people kind of liked about the first movie, let's double down on that and make them annoying this time. But you know, that's a whole nother thing. And I saw the third movie. It was easily better than the second movie, but I didn't like it as much. I thought it was okay. Um, but yeah, I think was the Age of Extinction, was that the fourth one?
The fourth, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that probably was the most boring action movie
Yo,
that
man.
I've ever watched, especially if it's like, dude, I I absolutely love movies, even movies that I probably come out not liking. I'm able to finish with no problem. This movie literally almost made me fall asleep on it, and I don't fall asleep on movies.
Wow.
I'll go one step better. I did fall asleep in that movie. And it was on opening night when we went to see it. I think we all went to see it as a group. I was sitting there. I was snoring in the theater. And we went to see it at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
We went to see it at 8 o'clock, and I was asleep. Anyway, go ahead, GQ.
Dude,
That movie was rough. That movie was very rough. The only thing that I like that they did is they killed the annoying character right at the beginning. Like, that's why I liked Lockdown. Lockdown became my favorite character just because he killed that one human that was annoying as hell in that movie immediately. So I thought that was cool. Going all the way back to the original, though, some of the things I did like, and Fallen touched on this, is how it kind of showed what would it be like, what would the government do if the Transformers came down to Earth and started their war here on Earth. And I thought that was actually really cool. The problem I had with moving from the first one to the second one is we lost a lot of really interesting characters.
Yes.
It's like, even though I didn't like him, because again, he was just that was the heyday of his being goofy, was Anthony Anderson was in the first one.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't really, losing him wasn't a big deal, but like John Voight was like the Secretary of State, like couldn't have carried that through. They had that one girl that was like, part of the government or whatever. I'm like, you have all these interesting characters, and the only one we get to keep is Shia LaBeouf. Thankfully, John Turturro got to come through it.
Oh man, he was the MVP.
Yeah, he was awesome. So
yes,
he got to stay on, which is cool. But it's just like okay, so we got to keep most of the Nest team. Then we get Tyrese. We could have traded him for somebody, but it's just, I don't know. Transformers was fun, and again, they threw a lot of nods in there. Obviously, they put the transforming sound in the very first time somebody transforms, and they put the sound in there. So I was like, good. At least you put that in there. At least that's something that like we can finally get that out of the way. Because if you didn't at least have that, and then like, dude, I'm writing this off. If you can't at least give us that, and Bay did. So I thought that was pretty cool. I did like the fact that they took the approach of, we're not going to cheat the transformations. They're going to really be truly like, if you took something that was this is what it would turn into. I thought that was actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
As far as not honoring the G1 designs, I was okay with it only because Optimus looked good enough. Optimus was close enough. Like Optimus made sense, what they did with him. Megatron, I liked Megatron because Megatron was like, look, he's got his Cybertronian design. He's not trying to blend in. I thought that was kind of cool with Megatron. So he didn't have the big arm cannon, and whatnot. Because again, even if you look back at his G1 design, it doesn't really make sense. Because it's like you're this enormous robot that you turn into this small ass gun. Yeah. So it's like whatever. So I thought that was,
he could change sizes too. He could either be a gun for a human or he could be a gun for a Cybertronian.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. So like that the mass the mass cheating and the size cheating.
Yeah,
I didn't mind that Bay did away with that because it was like, dude, even if Megatron did turn into a gun, only another Transformer could wield him like that.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But Dark of the Moon was probably one of the better ones. Yes. Again, Revenge of the Fallen had lots of problems. I will give them props for trying to do Devastator, because the scene, the setup for that scene was cool as far as like how they, right before he was going to transform. It just didn't. The execution once it was done was poor.
I know.
Dude,
I will
literally
not
the only positive thing that I took from the second movie after a while was sideswiping. We didn't get enough of him.
Oh, dude, I'm mad that Chevy never made that Corvette design. I'm like, dude, that Stingray looked amazing.
Amazing.
Like, how did y'all not make that?
Amazing.
But
now, okay, so
hold on. Wolverine Side Leg says he wants to see Hot Rod. Hot Rod actually was in the 5th movie.
Guess he was.
Was it?
That forgettable last night film.
Yeah, dude, I completely ignored that movie altogether after almost falling asleep on Age of Extinction.
Yeah.
So I had no incentive to watch last night.
Man. Anyway, so guys, let's talk about where the franchise can go from here. Obviously, I talked about the G.I. Joe teaser, but just in general, the film franchise, it's already hit. This is its 7th entry. It's already now one of the longest film franchises in movie history, just based off the merit of having 7 entries. So, as an IP, I feel like there's a resurgence in the Transformers brand now. Obviously, we might get a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover pretty soon. But where would you guys like to see it go? I touched on it a little bit during the break that Peter Cullen has been playing Optimus Prime through all 7 of these movies. But he's getting a little long in the tooth. He can't do it forever. Would you want to see someone supplant him as Optimus Prime and keep it going, or would you rather see a new leader of the Autobots at some point?
There's been talk of Chris Hemsworth taking over as Prime for him. I would rather they just have Peter Cullen read the dictionary and just AI his voice. Dude, they did it for James Earl Jones.
I was going to say, didn't they do that for James Earl Jones?
Yeah, James Earl Jones gave him permission to do that. So he's going to be the voice of Darth Vader forever. And it's just going to be AI.
If there's permission given, I'm fine with that. Yeah. If there's permission given.
Yes, if he gives his permission to do that, I'll take that all day.
Freddie Kawhi says let him do it till he can't.
Yeah, and I'm advocating for that too, because I think who else did something until Stan Lee kind of did. Who?
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles, yeah, literally did it until he died.
His last movie,
right? Yeah. So
I'm playing a giant toy or something.
Right?
No, he said no. Apparently, I'm playing a planet.
Yeah. Okay. Orson Welles was great as Unicron too. He was
Orson
great.
Welles didn't care about that, man.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Orson Welles can't be bothered to do a damn commercial voiceover read.
That was so hilarious. And then Pinky and the Brain
dude. The fact that they took it word for word is hilarious. Obviously, they didn't cuss, but that was legitimately word for word. Like, I'm like, dude, that's hilarious. But Orson, no. Again, the original animated film had an insane voice cast, especially for the time.
Legendary voice cast.
They did that before Lion King did that ensemble.
Yes.
Voice cast thing. So I mean,
that was incredible.
Frank Welker do Optimus. Frank Welker is amazing, but he's also very old too.
He is, and I'm still mad that we never got him as Megatron.
Yes, we did.
When did we get him as Megatron? Or did
no. In the it was the
Galvatron, though, right?
I think it was the 3rd film, if I remember correctly.
No.
We got him as Galvatron.
Here's how it worked. Here's how it went down. Hugo Weaving did the voice for Megatron because they did a test with Frank Welker's original Megatron voice as Megatron, and it just did not feel right. They just said it just didn't match what you were seeing on screen. Prime, of course, was Prime. That's never been an issue. But Frank Welker did Soundwave's voice in the film, and because he basically did his Dr. Claw voice.
Yes.
And he ended up doing the, if I remember right, the voice for Galvatron, which again technically is Megatron Reborn.
Right.
So
he
was in the films. It's just he never, obviously got to play Megatron the way we all grew up with Megatron.
Right.
Okay.
So I mean, they at least was able to go back to the roots on that, which was cool. I mean, you kind of saw them trying to do that later on, but it's just like Michael Bay was just kind of still stuck in his Michael Bayisms making the movie. So like it just never was able to really see through.
And again, I don't begrudge Bay because I mean Bay does put butts in seats and he does make money. And all directors have their signature thing that they like to do.
Sure.
And Bay's just happens to be big explosions, and attractive women. So
Yep.
I have zero problems with either of those
Right.
two things.
So, continuing to speak of the future of the franchise. So, the one thing that I feel like, and we touched on it with, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, is us getting the combiners. Like, we've never seen a proper combiner on screen. I feel like that's naturally a next evolution for this thing.
That'd be nice.
That would be like.
But who are you gonna see? Is it gonna just be Devastator, or are you gonna get the coolest one, Predaking?
And seeing that's where.
Did we do the Predacons already? I felt like we didn't we?
They could have do it based on now what they got there.
Yeah.
I think they tried it with
when the Dinobots were there, right? Yeah, when the Dinobots were there, we got the Predacons too.
Really? Man, I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, and they were just kind of just there. It was just like just primal. They were just metal dinosaurs. Like that was it. Like,
Which I think also helped my disappointment with that film.
Well, the thing is,
because they just showed up. Like they didn't really have a build up. They just popped up.
They were just there.
The problem with the combiners is scale. That's always been the issue. That's why, like I said, when they did Devastator, that's kind of about what you would get if those 6 huge machines tried to turn into one thing. They're gonna be too big. Like, okay, imagine if let's take the Stunticons for example.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Lamborghini, a couple of other sports cars. There's a Porsche in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Taking 4 full-size cars, and now you're going to attach them to a semi-truck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to walk around and do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The design is tricky.
It is tricky, I will grant you. However, we need to, and I think maybe they were trapped by, Michael Bay, was trapped by, in that second film, trying to encapsulate it in some sense of realism.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dispense with that. Let's just make it, even if it's ridiculous, let's just be like, okay, this can't possibly work in real life, but fuck it, this ain't real life. Let's just do it.
So from a size scaling standpoint, if Optimus Prime is obviously Prime is a little bit bigger than the standard Transformer, but let's say Prime is the measurement.
Right.
How many primes tall is this thing going to be?
See, in the cartoon, I think Devastator was like 4 times bigger.
Okay.
I'd say that.
Was it to the point where it was like kaiju level or
close?
No, kaiju level is Trypticon, Metroplex,
yes,
City.
Yes, you're right.
Those would be kaiju.
Okay.
Yes,
but the combiners, like I said, that's why the scale would be tricky. You'd have to find that perfect scale.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that don't do it because I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
I think that's always going to be kind of your the little hook that's going to be like, okay, this may or may not work.
Okay.
So
all right, Dido, you got any input?
I hope they just continue making the movies that are going to be enjoyable to watch. That new people can come in and watch it. Old people can go. Like, I feel like that's a part of my nostalgia because that's the whole thing. The reason why they're making this stuff is because the people that grew up with it are adults now, and they like to see that stuff. They're not necessarily just doing it because if you look at the movies, they're not like the TV series. And what I mean by that, they're not a big commercial for selling toys.
Right.
It's actually out there to try to entertain you and, say, oh, that was good. And it was action movie. Because action movies nowadays are different than what they were in the 80s and the 90s.
Although I do feel like your comment about, they were a commercial for the toys. I feel like they could be that way again.
I mean, they
could with the movies. Because if they see it, looking really cool in live action, I don't think there's a kid alive that would be like, oh, man, I want that.
I believe they could, but today we're a lot better. When I say we, I mean as a human, at telling a story. Because every piece of Transformers that I've seen so far, especially those Netflix ones, are way better than stuff.
Fucking phenomenal, man.
They're just like so good because of character development, the storytelling, all that stuff. So, and even those to me are not commercials for the toys. I mean, I'm an adult now. I still play with toys a little bit. And
obviously.
I bought all of the Transformers that I bought are G1 masterpiece because those are the ones that my brain says how they were when I was a kid. Because the actual G1s, nothing like those, but the masterpiece toys are what I wanted. And those are the ones I'm buying. So I'm not going to buy any of the toys if they try to make a cartoon for it. But maybe,
well, even if you like, and again, it's you and I are both on the same page as far as masterpiece because we both collected masterpiece. If you look in the toy aisles, if you can even find toys in the toy aisles in some of these stores these days, a lot of the toys are way overpriced for very, very inferior crap
Quality.
product, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if you look back at when we were growing up, Optimus Prime was a $24 toy. It doesn't seem like it because you know, if your parents got it for you, you didn't. But it was a $24 toy. You look at Transformers stuff now, little small ones that are maybe like 6 inches tall are like $40-$50. I'm like, but
What?
why? Dude, remember that? I don't know if you saw it. I unboxed Coronation Starscream, which is like a little small version.
Yeah,
of it.
small, $60.
Yeah,
I
that's
got one of those.
yeah, that's a $60.
I got one of them
it's
too.
a $60 Transformer. He's only like about that big. It's
Ridiculous.
just like, come on, dude.
I thought it was gonna be master. Where'd it go? Oh, I thought it was gonna be masterpiece size, and it was just all
Nah,
itty
he was
bitty. I'm
tiny.
just like, that was
Yeah.
disappointing.
They wanted. I was like, you guys are crazy. Well, it is time.
Yeah, it certainly is time. We've hit the limit. So if you guys got any ideas about the future of Transformers or anything else you guys want to talk about, now's the time. The power is yours. All right. Out of the chat, Hannah Mega says, "Don't mind the changes except for Bumblebee. That kind of destroys the whole point of his character." The changes, as in taking him from being kind of I don't want to say cowardly, but
I mean, he was a scout. Like
he was a scout.
like,
Yes, he was a scout in the original G1s, but now they changed him to being like one of the better warriors in the Autobots. So,
Which I always thought was funny. I mean, even Bay did that. It's just like, it's like Bumblebee was like he said, he was the scout. He was, at least in the Bay movies, he was one of the first Autobots, you know, down here checking things out. There was even I think it was like a Burger King Happy Meal book that tied into that, like what Bumblebee was doing before the movie. But yeah, they turned him into a bit of a badass, which was necessary because I hated him in the cartoon. I never liked Bumblebee. I didn't like any of the mini bots.
I mean,
not
it's
even Cliff
fine
Jumper with Casey
considering.
Kasem? I'm just kidding.
I mean, it was definitely fine considering like they switched it up from him being that Volkswagen Beetle. So it's just like, dude,
Yeah, him going
that's
from
like the most. That's like the most uncool car in the crew. Like it's like.
You
Like-
telling me
like
you would have been a
100%,
Camaro?
I
Right.
still felt like when Shia's Sam Witwicky found him in Bernie Mac's car lot, he should have been a Beetle. He shouldn't have been an old Mustang. Was it a
He
Mustang?
was making fun of the Beetle though. The Beetle was there.
I know they were. I know it was.
Yeah.
But I wanted B to be the Beetle.
I get you, but no kid's gonna pick a Volkswagen Beetle.
He had no choice. What
Not
if
when
he?
a Camaro sitting there.
What if that's all he could afford? Then shit. That's
I
what you
understand
get.
that. I mean, even Bernie Mac even says sometimes a kid picks a car with a cheap,
I mean,
cheap ass
he
father.
technically
But
he technically couldn't afford it, which is why Bumblebee destroyed the other car.
exactly, Bumblebee, he got the car.
Pick me.
Brian Cannon said, "Anyone ever noticed the GL John Stewart and Optimus Prime kind of sound the same?
No.
Bill Lamar and Peter Cullen,
No.
they have that same heroic timbre to their voice,
Sure.
but not really sounding the same.
I feel like it's the delivery with Peter Cullen more
Yeah.
than anything else. Yes.
Yeah. And plus, like, you know, like Peter Cullen had those Toonami voiceovers too that kind
He
of
did?
add to his resume. So it was kind of
Oh
like,
man, yes, the Peter Cullen Toonami
Right.
voiceovers, legendary.
Peter Cullen did a lot of the Channel 20, or it wasn't necessarily Channel 20, but just the network, you know,
Yes.
interludes and commercial stuff.
Yeah, he
Peter
did.
Cullen was the man.
Yeah,
And he also did Cars' voice. So,
yeah, he did.
Wolverine Solid X, will Secret Invasion be good?
The reviews say it's fantastic.
Yeah.
The reviews
Yeah.
saying that this is Samuel L. Jackson's defining performance as Nick Fury, which is what we anticipated. I've heard some people compare it to say that it's like it's Marvel's version of Andor,
Okay.
which I think is
Yeah.
supposed to be high praise because most people say Andor is fantastic.
All right.
yeah, there's been a lot of comparisons saying it's kind of returning back to its roots in Winter Soldier. So, I mean, if it definitely is doing that, I'm happily looking forward to that.
Indeed.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, Sam Jackson, I ain't got nothing to worry about. You put him on screen, I'm good.
Anybody play that War for Cybertron game back in the day? Absolutely. The two of them.
The first one, I played
Oh,
the first
bro.
one. The first
Come
one was really good.
on!
The first one was really good. I didn't really play the second one, but I
Yeah,
heard
there
the
was
second
two of
one was
them.
pretty bad. But
You heard the second one was
first
pretty bad? The second one actually was really great.
For some reason, I heard a lot of bad stuff about the second game. I don't
Oh
know
man,
why.
the second
But
one had. Go ahead.
I played all the way through the first one, and I had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, the second one was great because the second one featured Titans like Metroplex in it.
Yeah, that
you
was
actually even got
crazy.
to.
I was like, "This is awesome."
Yes, I thought the second one was great. The first one was really good. The second one was even better, in my opinion.
Brian Cannon, he dropped the MF bomb in Infinity War.
He did.
Yeah.
Yes, he
Made
did.
it out right before he got the fight.
Right before he got dusted, he's like, "Mother." Yep. Right before he got dusted.
Then of course there's that the deleted scene from the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing about Iron Man is? Iron Man actually has a cut that is very similar to the Richard Donner Superman cut. Where, like, remember how like on TV they would show like extra scenes of Superman 2?
Yeah.
There's a scene or a couple of scenes in the original Iron Man that never made it to the Blu-ray, but I've seen them on TV. Like, there's more stuff with
I don't
with
understand
Jensen.
why they do that.
It
Like,
gets on my
why?
nerves too.
Was it on the DVD?
No.
What?
Not released on anything. Like, always just would be like one of them things that like you just catch it on like TV.
Why do you just leave shit like that on the cutting room floor?
Exactly, because it's like there's this one version where there's more of the scene with him and Jensen building the armor, and it's like there's more interaction, there's more dialogue, there's more, and I'm like, why do we never get this version like as an actual release?
Yeah,
like,
I never understood why they did that with movies where like they would literally have like all these extra scenes in the TV formatted version, and it's just like, dude, why isn't this in the like the regular cut? Like, I don't understand.
Yes, Hand, you did misunderstand. We're talking about when movies get extra stuff for the TV.
They do that all the time. I think.
Bless you.
The first time I saw that was a movie a long time ago called Explorers. Phoenix River, River Phoenix.
River Phoenix.
What's his name? God darn it, he's a big star now.
Oh, it's Leo DiCaprio. Was it? No, it wasn't.
Daughter's in Stranger Things.
Oh, Johnny Depp.
No.
Wait, no. His daughter's.
No.
Yeah, Uma Thurman and
okay.
His name.
Ethan Hawke. Yes,
there you go.
Ethan Hawke.
Starred in it.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, and I remember because I had the VHS and I remember watching it over and over again. And one time it was on TV and I was like, I'm gonna sit here and watch this. And there was a scene. I was like, wait a minute, I'd never seen this before, because like it was the part where they says, yeah, we got this thing now. How are we gonna get it home? And he's like, it has wheels. We'll roll it. And then VHS next scene, they're just pushing it into the creek. The TV scene is they're rolling it home.
Yeah.
And they go to a hill and it rolls down the fucking hill and crashes into some garbage cans. I'm like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Like Hand is saying, like a perfect example of that is in Superman the movie, the extra scenes when Superman first drills down into the lair. Luthor had set out a whole bunch of traps for him. You know, the fire pit, the freezing him.
Oh yeah,
the shooting him with the.
All of that was added back to a version that finally made it to Blu-ray.
Yep.
This particular Iron Man version has not been, at least in this region, at least on the, this side of the world,
right,
has never been released
anywhere.
Because you know me, I have all of them. I have the original, release when it first came out. I got it when they brought it back to Steelbook as a 4K. They've never put that scene back in there. I'm like,
interesting.
That's so weird.
That is weird.
It is, dude.
Who's seeing The Blackening this weekend? Now,
no thank you.
The Blackening, the Blackening looks like a hilarious satire on black people thrust into a horror situation, like being in Saw, and they have to play this. They have to play this board game that is overtly racist towards black people, and they're making fun of it. But as they're doing it, one of their people is like captured and is being tortured or something like that. It's a satire. It's a dark comedy. It looks hilarious. I want to see it. I don't know if I'll see it this weekend though.
For me, that's not
my
hats
off to dude that probably got paid pretty good for that, because that was a skit online like a couple years ago.
I give you one even better.
Funny, and it's like, yeah, and I'm like, he pitched this as a movie. I'm like, okay,
check out this movie called Bitch Ass.
Bitch Ass.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Great title.
Han knows about it, and it's literally It's not a comedy though, but it's very similar to that. The story is basically is this house that the neighborhood house where like nobody ever wants to go there because there are people that live there that you just don't want to mess with.
Right.
And these kids decide they want to go rob the house to get initiated into a gang because they heard that there's money in the house. They're going to rob the house. And one of the dudes that's in there was teased when he was young, and they used to call him bitch ass all the time. So he became kind of like this Jason type figure that's in the house, but he uses games to kill the victims.
Okay.
It's not very well put together, but if
Mhm.
somebody that actually had money, the concept probably wouldn't have been bad.
Yeah.
But they should have made it
Yeah.
more supernatural instead of like, an actual person.
Yeah.
Brian Cannon,
Don't
oh, go ahead, Fallen.
I say, don't you hate when stuff doesn't get better beyond the concept?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Phantom of the Opera meets Black Jigsaw. That's basically because he
Mhm.
set up a whole bunch of games. So it was kind of like Saw. It's kind of like the Blackening. But it was, and it's called Bitch Ass. Like, you can't market a movie called Bitch Ass.
Right.
So
I mean,
Brian
sure you
trying to be
can.
funny.
Right.
Oh, no. There's parts of Superman 4 that I actually like. It's that Superman 4 as a movie, as a whole movie, was terrible.
Yes.
The deleted scenes in that movie are hilarious. 'Cause
Gene
they have
Hackman
two
was in
nuclear
his
men.
biggest I don't give a fuck mode in that film.
Yeah.
Him and John Cryer were great together.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. But here's the thing. Gene Hackman was having a ball playing Lex.
Yes, he was.
John Cryer was having a ball playing Lenny.
Yep.
Christopher Reeve was trying to be, what he was.
Yep.
He was the definitive Superman at
Yep.
the time. And then, like, the dude Mark Pillow, I don't think he ever acted again in his life.
In his life.
He went back to the
His name
strip
was
club or whatever.
Hello?
Yes,
And then,
that was the name of the Nuclear Man. The actor that played Nuclear Man.
Yeah, right. I don't think he's selling pillows. He
I
probably
don't
went
think
back
he's
to the
selling
strip
pillows.
club he came from.
No.
Took
You
the
know
girl
what's
dancing or
funny
whatever.
thinking about that? What was the name of his henchman in the second movie played by Ned Beatty?
Oh, you're
Otis.
talking about Otis.
Dude, it's so funny because I don't know. I guess because I was just reminded that he was in the Captain America movie recently, so it was just like,
Oh, right. He was in that one. He was in that Captain America movie in the 90s. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up,
Yeah.
Sam? How you doing?
How's it
Hey,
going?
Sam.
Let me lost on the subject. We're in the middle of Power is Yours. You can talk about whatever you want.
So Shannon, Wolverine Solid X brought up Shannon Sharp left Skip. My favorite sports show is over. Now look, speaking of that, I'm the only person here that even knows what the hell's going on. When
Fired his
Skip
ass.
dared to say what he said months ago
About to tell him
about
to put his glasses back on?
yes,
I thought that was funny.
that's
yeah.
your dude. The show was over then. I knew Shannon was about to bounce.
Here's the thing.
That's
It
enough.
was funny, but I knew. I mean, it was funny, but at
That
the
shit
same
was
time, it's like,
awkward.
I knew he was like on his way out. He was like he just
Oh,
waiting
yeah.
for his opportunity to bounce, and he did.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. He took his glasses off like he's about to do something. It's like, dude, you both millionaires on this show where you're paid to talk to each other.
Dog.
Like,
Skip was
what-
disrespecting him to his face,
I don't
though,
care.
man.
It's like, dude,
Yo.
what were you really going to do, though? It's like the thing that they were talking about. I forgot exactly what it was. It was something. Now, here's the thing. Shannon, it was
I know what it
football.
was. It was
football,
about
right?
Tom Brady
Mm-hmm.
retiring and him daring to say that Shannon a Hall of Famer,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
wasn't
saying
as
that
great
his,
at 40 as Tom Brady was. It was the way he said it.
But
That
is
was
it true? Is it
completely-
true or not?
I need to revisit it to see the
I'm
context
just
that
saying,
was said.
stats wise, if it's true,
No, 100%.
It's
Tom Brady
true.
is the greatest ever, right? Quarterback ever.
There you go.
Not disputing that.
Yeah,
But I think it was the
I
way
think
he was demeaning
it
his
was the way-
accomplishments.
I remember. It was
Yeah.
the way he said it. It was like almost trying to like invalidate Shannon's career the way he said
Correct.
it. And it was just like, and it was kind of like, hold on.
And Shannon was like,
bro.
"I'm a Hall of Famer, bro. What the fuck? What are you talking about?"
okay, you're a Hall of Famer. How many championships has he won?
2?
How many has Brady won? 7.
Look,
I'm just being look. I get what you're saying. It sucks that you gave basically he got put in his place by a dude that like has never played the
never
sport.
play that down.
I get that. But at the same time, taking your glasses off, you're a grown ass man, like you taking your glasses off like you about to fight him on the show. That just makes you look weak.
Yo,
dude. It's
man,
like,
I mean, look, the man had to collect himself. Like we
I
already
know.
know between the two of them that like Shannon is the most passionate out of the two.
Okay,
so,
Shannon has 3.
but
He had
either
2 with
way-
the Broncos, 1 with the Ravens. Yeah, but okay, yeah. Go ahead.
But yeah, it is like one of those things where you had that initial reaction when somebody kind of get out of pocket with you, and it's just like, you know what? And it's like, you know what? Okay, I'm just
like, dog.
I
watched the clip. I thought it was fun
because he's not the mess up. He's not about to mess up his bag. He's not about to do that.
Yeah.
So, but it's just one of those things where somebody get out of pocket with you, you like.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of come out of yourself a little bit, you know.
100%. No, I get that. All right, guys, we're gonna have to wrap it up. It's about the end, so the power is yours. So, Skip was mad disrespectful for that. Anyway, guys, next week's show we're gonna be talking to indie comic book writer Carissa Grant. She's got a new Kickstarter, much like Glory, that's getting ready to drop later this month. So make sure you come back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, for that episode of Culture Junkies Live.
She's creating.
I'm sorry.
Is that an image from the comic that she's created?
Yeah, that's
awesome.
yeah. So she's focused on horror and stuff like that. So it'd be very interesting to talk about her.
Waiting to rip you apart in your nightmares.
Yeah, it looks like a zombied out Anubis or some shit like that. No, that's exactly what it looks like. Anyway, guys, we enjoyed entertaining you for this last hour. We thank you all for joining us. For my friends, the great Adakuji, GQ, and Father Marvel, I'm Kishiro. See you guys next week. Have a great one.
Bye-bye.
Now you're asking me to mask my emotions because of how it makes
Sam
you
was
feel.
talking about Chainsaw Man, which was
Chainsaw Man.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
I have to catch up on that.
You
so
should. I
started Chainsaw Man. I have not finished it.
I finished it, and that I thought was really good. And it
wild,
doesn't go the way you think.
You think it's gonna go?
Anything's gonna go? Like
Okay.
I was like, wait a minute.
No, Chainsaw Man was good. Was a good show. No, no question.
Is that the one that changes his intro up and has like all those references in it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
showed you that. They had the references to a lot of '90s movies.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Nice.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Big Lebowski, The Ring. There's a whole bunch of them.